You know how we started this afternoon? we kind of just, all right, so what is going on here? With the rain coming in, just like the droplets of the rain came in, we had the people pour in. This is so beautiful. What an amazing experience. I am so indebted, I'm so thankful to all of you to take the time. It is quite an amazing experience for me to stand up here to advocate for this change, for this District 8, and for the betterment of this nation, and to get the support from each one of you. This is beautiful. I wanted to start, even before start, say thank you very much. I really appreciate you all being here, especially being a hero in this weather. Thank you. You know, as we come out from this terrible pandemic, this is an amazing way to start. Yesterday is when the state of Illinois basically said you can actually be in groups. And how thankful are we that we are here in this room as if we were gathering about 16, 17 months ago. You know, we thank God for this blessing. A year ago, something like this was impossible. We were just so used to seeing each other on Zoom. So this is an amazing blessing for us to be able to, we actually planned this outside, as you know. We were able to, because of, the betterment in the situation, come in here. So thank you for that. A little bit of introduction for myself. My name is Junaid Ahmed. I am a son of an immigrant, and I'm an immigrant myself. Many of you here, very similar to a lot of Americans, I come from very humble backgrounds. My dad migrated to this country, and I saw him working 2 jobs. I saw him working through the night, and then come morning, he would go to a second job. He would come back home in the afternoon, get his sleep, and out again he is working. This is an experience that I'm sure many of us has. It's a very, very American experience, especially for the migrant community. And the lower working class people who have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and still our federal minimum wage is at $7.25. That's a shame. You know, I myself started my life, my college education at the City College of Chicago, one of the City Colleges of Chicago, and I have a few friends here over in my class. There you go, look at that. I mean, we have a lot of friends back here, all the way, 20 some years later, we're still here. Then I transferred to DePaul University, where in my junior and senior years, I worked full-time, went to school full-time. That was quite an experience to, work from 8 to 5, and then take your classes from 5:45, 6 o'clock, all the way up to 9:30. Once, I got a corporate job. A few years later, I left my corporate job to start my own technology consulting firm. After that, a few years later, I went back, got my MBA from University of Chicago, Booth School of Business. And this is an American dream come true. What else can you say? What else can you say? This is an American dream come true for my dad, for my uncles, for my brothers, for my sisters, for my family. This is what America is all about. Let us do anything and everything to keep that dream alive for everyone who is here today, who is going to be living today, who is going to be coming in our future generations. That dream has to be alive. Yeah! My family here, Shireen, Yusra, Amina, Ibrahim, Jannah, that is the family. I thank you. I thank them for bearing up with me. Already, I knew the campaign would go crazy. I just knew it. And I planned for leaving my work 6 months prior to the prior to the primaries. But already we're seeing that by 2 a.m. we're not done with work. And then you have a 7:30 meeting set up already, which is great. That means things are heading in the right direction. Now that I've told you a little bit about myself, let me share my vision, a progressive vision for the District 8 and this country. As we recover from this terrible pandemic, it has become more apparent than ever that we have a broken and an exploitative healthcare system. Why is it that in the world, one of the richest nations, I'd say the richest nation, the wealthiest nation on the planet, healthcare is not recognized as a basic human right? Why do we have people not getting universal healthcare? Why is it that in the world's wealthiest nation, 500,000 people every year, 500,000 people go bankrupt just because of Medicare bills, medical bills? You know, I traveled to about 60 countries. Every other developed country provides healthcare, basic healthcare to each and every one of their citizens. And why is it closer to home that 1 in 10 people in District 8 does not have any form of health insurance? That is about 70,000 people in Illinois District 8 without any form of health insurance. How can the elected representative who claims to represent those people go to sleep with peace at night, still find 20 hours a day to make phone calls to their donors, and not worry about those people who are living without any coverage? You know, the answer is quite simple. Answer to that question is very simple. Americans are struggling because of the greed of our insurance companies, the private insurance companies. Americans are struggling because of the House of Representatives, our elected officials, who are bought off by these special interest groups, who are working hard to sell us the fact that Medicare for all cannot work here in the United States. We are here to tell them we are not going to buy their lie. We are going to stand up to do what it takes to make sure that each and every person in this country gets that health insurance. Unfortunately for all of us in the 8th District, Congressman Krishnamurti is one of those representatives who has caved into those special interests, and have agreed to put his donors and his coffers ahead of what is good for his constituents. I believe in Medicare for all. The American people believe in Medicare for all. 70%. Here is this number. 70% of voters support Medicare for all. Now it is time that we send people to Congress who are going to actually fight for people. And I am going to fight for everyone here. I'm ready to fight on day one. To make sure that each and every citizen of the 8th District of Illinois, every man, every woman, every child, has health insurance coverage that they can go see a doctor without having to worry about a bill that will follow. No deductibles, no co-pays, no premiums whatsoever. Everybody will be in, nobody will be left out. When we talk about people getting left behind, we cannot but talk about the thousands of young students and young people who either cannot afford to go to college, or if they do end up going to college, they're leaving schools with crazy amount of debt. That is unacceptable in the richest nation in the world. You know, I'll tell my own story here. Shireen and I, we paid her student debt last year. Wow. Believe it or not. As a successful entrepreneur, you would have thought that would not be the case. But unfortunately, our student debts are so high that it's taking a lifetime for people to pay off their student debts. Today, average Illinois students graduate with over $36,000 worth of debt. And we know that the real amount could be way higher than that. We have an entire generation of young people who live paycheck to paycheck, who cannot afford to start families, who cannot afford to buy a home or start a business, because they're already behind on bills by the time they leave their college. They're already behind. As soon as they come out, even if you get those subsidized loans, the interest begins immediately on day one of your graduation. By the time you get your paycheck, you already have your interest accumulated. That's ridiculous. That should not be the case. And you know, it just makes common sense to make college education free. A system of free education up to high school was made for a time when a high school diploma would give you a respectable living. That's not the case anymore. We all know that. I don't think I need to preach to the choir here. You all know that better than I do, that a college degree is required for you to make a respectable living these days. And we need to make sure that our free education goes from high school to public universities and colleges. And lastly, I want to talk about my personal experience here, right? From healthcare to high tech, there is a severe shortage of skilled labor. Those of you who are in the healthcare industry, those of you who are in the high-tech industry, like myself, know their problem. For my own firm, we had to have, my partners here, we had to hire people from overseas and fly them in because we could not find the resources here. We had to pay them way north of 6 figures. And listen to this number. International Monetary Fund has released a number that by 2030, globally, there would be 85 million shortage of jobs for high-tech workers. 85 million. And that would result in 8.5 trillion. I just looked down to make sure it's not a billion. 8.5 trillion in lost annual revenue. How difficult of a math is it? When somebody asks me a question, how are you going to pay for free college? Just look at some of the numbers out there. You'll get your answer yourself. Does it not make sense to make free college education? I think it does. I hope everyone does. And when we admit that we have a broken education system, we also have to admit that we have a broken immigration system. As an immigrant myself, as a son of an immigrant, this issue is very near and dear to my heart. The Trump administration put on a full display how racist and rotten our immigration system is. Children in cages. Children being taken away from the arms of their mothers. Unfortunately, these practices are not changing much. Not changing much with the new administration. If you're really, truly going to live up to the idea that we are a nation of immigrants, we must institute a moratorium on deportations and dismantle cruel and inhumane deportation programs. It is our responsibility that every individual who comes here, either for short term or to find a better living, is treated humanely and with respect. I was given that opportunity. My family was given that opportunity. And I promise you I will fight that our future generations will continue to get that opportunity. That door should never be closed. You know we have a lot to fight for. When you look at the platform, you can go on and on and on the things that we have to stand up for, that we need to fight for. But in order to build a progressive future for our country, all of this will be in vain. Everything that I have talked about will not work if we do not address the fundamental root cause of the problem. And that is money, special interest money in the politics. I want you to think about this. You select someone, send them to the Capitol Hill to make a decision for you. These people are getting millions and billions of dollars from special interest groups. So who are they going to please? Are they going to please you and I, or are they going to please their donors? Unfortunately, their donors are who they're trying to please, and the bottom line is the results that we are talking about. Make no mistake that special interest, getting it out of our political system, is the only way to fix the root cause of the problem. So we don't have to come back and keep talking about one problem at a time. Year after year, politicians bend and sway to the whims of special interest and their top dollar donors at the expense of justice. And year after year, voters lose their interest because of the reason that they're not being listened to. And guess what? They are not being listened to. Time after time, study after study, it shows that things like Medicare for all, college for all, Green New Deal, $15 minimum wage are not only feasible, but cost effective and good for the economy. So why don't we have these programs in place? Because Wall Street, special interest groups, and the politicians they bought off keep it from us so they can make a buck off our suffering and hold on to their power. And this is a fact. This is not just an emotional statement or a comment. That's a fact of America. It is time to end the cycle of greed and corruption. Our government must be truly of, by, and for the people. And finally, we need to guarantee that the right for every American over 18 to vote is reinstated. There are so many narratives across the country where people's right to vote is being stopped. If not stopped, they're trying to make it slow. So many different obstacles are being put in place. So now, whether you're black, you're white, you're Hindu, you're Muslim, you're Asian, you're American Indian, you're Hispanic, you're Sikh, you're Christian, you're Jew, Gentile, or atheist, we want to bring people together. Together we will fight this good struggle. Together we are in this fight. Together we will solve our problems. Together we will find answers. Folks, we know what we deserve. I know we know what we deserve. We deserve Medicare for all. We deserve college for all. We deserve a Green New Deal. We deserve $15 minimum wage. We deserve elections not being tainted by special interest money. We deserve an immigration and a criminal justice system that works for everyone and not just a few. You know what? We just need representatives who are actually going to take up this fight. Yeah! Someone who is willing to fight to get us out of the perpetual wars, to fight to ensure men and women get equal pay, and women can make their own choices about their health, and to fight for justice and equality for all, because there is no freedom until we are all free. There is no freedom system until we are all free. You cannot say that 60% of the people that have insurance, the other 40% are underinsured, the remaining 10% are 0% insured. That is not an answer. We want a system wherein everybody has that access to the basic rights. And today, I am standing in front of you to say that it is going to take a fight to do it, and I am ready for that fight. Folks, I'm ready for that fight. We will take on that fight. Everybody will get together.